Today on Millennial Tube, we're having Andy Bell from Boomf, and we're very excited to talk about food, and specifically about food personalization and about a confectionery for a digital age. Andy, thank you very much for joining us today. Can you summarize Boomf for us?
So Boomf is a magical treat. It's a marshmallow with your face on it or a message. The idea is it's a way of sending an emotion, so it's a kind of an alternative to sending a card or sending flowers. It's charming and it's fun and people seem to like it.
I guess you're going through a lot of phases, don't you?
We do get through an awful lot of phases, yes.
So tell us, how did this royal confectionery affair come to play? Were you just sitting with Prince Harry discussing what's the next big thing in the confectionery industry?
So I'm not sure it's really a royal confectionery company. So my business partner is James Middleton, Kate Middleton's brother, and so he'd had a company doing personalised cakes for about 3 or 4 years, and I'd been working on a company that made personalised fridge magnets. We were introduced by a friend because of the kind of shared interest in personalisation, and we kind of realised that marshmallows had many of the best attributes of the cake business and many of the best attributes of the of the magnet business. So we joined together in a joint venture, and that was maybe 18 months ago, and we've been making marshmallows ever since.
Perfect. And can you talk to us a bit more about what is Millennial? How does Millennial come into Boomf?
A lot of the way Boomf has grown is through people. Everyone's got an individual. If you buy, you've got an individual set, which is a really remarkable and unique thing to share online. So we get a lot of traffic coming through people sharing it. And obviously the sheer number of photos people have now means that there's so many options when it comes to thinking what would be a funny thing to send on a marshmallow to someone. People have a great answer to that. A third thing that I kind of think is interesting, the trend towards digitisation means that so many categories of gifts are disappearing. You can't really give anyone a CD anymore or a DVD. I think there's demand for new gifts that make use of new technologies in interesting ways.
So how is Boomf Millennial exactly?
I think it's millennial in its interest in photos, interest, the kind of, if the millennials are the selfie generation, then Boomf is the edible selfie. I think that kind of making that connection, like jumping out of the screen, as we spend more and more time on screens, we yearn for tangible experiences. And certainly the kind of culture within the companies fits with a lot of the hallmarks of the millennial generation in terms of a lot of delegation of responsibility, a kind of I guess quite a collegiate atmosphere, work being a fun place to work, people working from, often not working fixed hours or from the office.
Are you excited about this industry? Are you excited about food? Are you excited about digitalization of the food industry?
Yeah, I mean, I think my real passion comes from creating personalised gifts. I think a gift is a form of communication. It seems crazy that most gifts are mass-produced, because how can communication be anything but unique? And food is a wonderful gift. People have given cakes to each other for hundreds of years, so I think combining those two. And so yeah, I think it's absolutely amazing area to be in, and it's very exciting.
Great. And how does, you've mentioned social, I think, and pictures and visual, and that part is very important. How does social come into the team and into the brand?
I think the main way it comes into the brand is in terms of as a route to market. So often we see it time and time again, the first thing you do when that kind of moment of hilarity when you receive some personalised marshmallows from someone, the first thing you do is take a picture of it and put it on Instagram, and so that's how, because every single product is unique, everyone's got something to share. So that's been a huge driver of growth for us. I mean, I think it permeates the whole culture. The kind of the tools that are available for running a business nowadays do tend to be more open, more transparent, more communication focused. A lot of our communication happens either on Slack or GitHub, and we make the tools and then the tools make us. I'm sure our culture is so hugely impacted by the fact that by default, communication happens within the company with everyone seeing and everyone chipping in. And sometimes I'll be having a kind of software discussion with one of the developers, and someone from marketing will say, "Why the hell are you doing that?" Or "Have you thought about this?" And also the fact we can be quite geographically dispersed. So our offices are in East London, but our factories in Reading, and we've got a couple of people who tend to work remotely, and that kind of works as a culture. I think that's quite millennial.
And can you talk to us a bit about your customer?
One thing we find is, like particularly now we're doing TV advertising, and the people who do the analysis of the kind of response to TV always find it remarkable how wide the customer base is. There isn't a particular skewing, either young or old, male or female, or even a particular type of show that does well. The one thing that surprised me, which is obvious in retrospect, is when we launched it, I kind of thought it would be mainly for personal consumption, and kind of 6 months into it was just apparent that like 99.9% of people were buying them as a gift. And at that point, you're just like, why did I ever think, like, it's so much better as a gift. The whole thing kind of makes sense as a gift.
And it's interesting because the way to market of your product is physical. I don't know if physical and online have exactly the same importance, but you've facilitated that physical experience to your customers.
Yeah.
Can you talk a bit more about that and the importance of it?
I just think there's a yearning for physical experiences. I think Britain leads Europe in terms of the amount of hours spent looking at the screen every day per person, and you kind of see it in all sorts of realms. Like, I think the kind of like the massive boom in festivals over the last decade, things like yoga and cycling, like the growth hobbies, they're really about kind of getting away from the screen. And so I think anything, like that's what I'm very excited about, is that kind of link between this incredible power of software with the primacy of the one-to-one connection, and that taking a moment to remember how important your friends and your loved ones are in a way that goes beyond a Facebook like.
It's the digital detoxification, as you can call it, if we can. And what about the ambition for Boomf?
First and foremost, my ambition is to keep making brilliant things and fusing that power, the kind of design creativity and software creativity with the power. I mean, we're just kind of investing at the moment in a robot which is going to transform production for us. So it's kind of getting technology at every part of the business.
Can you talk a bit more about the robot project?
The absolute bottleneck in the whole production process is cutting the marshmallows, would you believe? Like, trying to create a square marshmallow is the hardest bit. And to date it's been done manually, but as we've grown, it's become an absolutely unmanageable process, and it's kind of quite hard to ensure consistent quality. And then we've tried a whole batch of robots, but the problem with a robot cutter is most of them are ultrasonic, and they melt the marshmallow as they cut through it, which then turns into absolutely horrible sticky goo that then needs to be cleaned. And then if you're cleaning the blade every time you cut, it's just far too time consuming. Anyway, we've finally found a robot that can cut marshmallows without causing the marshmallows to melt, and he's arriving at the end of next month, and we're very excited to meet him.
Does he have a name?
Yeah, we call him Rara.
Rora?
Rara.
Wow, is that the story behind it?
Well, there's an incredible number of people in the company whose names end in Ra. So there's Lara, Hara, Zara, and then it kind of seemed like the kind of Rara is taking that to the next level.
Exciting. You've promised us some stories. Do you have some fun stories to share about Boomf?
Actually, the only one I've got in mind, I think it might be too naughty.
No problem.
Let me try and think of a clean one. So obviously, we've had all manner of things printed on marshmallows, and I think my favourite single one, and we try not to pry, but occasionally you can't help noticing. My favourite one was one lady sending a set of rather revealing pictures of herself on marshmallows, but not just once, 3 times to 3 separate men. What's going on there?
Amazing. Well, thank you very much, Andy. That was a lot of fun. Thank you, guys, and see you next time on Millennial Tube. Ciao.